Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Music of the Week. As always, 6 albums to go through, so we're going to go through 6 albums. We begin with a band I didn't think was a band because of the name. It's a band called Ben Quad, and it's like a name from Star Wars or something. And this is their second album, I believe. Yes, it is, titled Wisher. And give this one an A. I thought this was proper good. This is that sort of Midwest emo-leaning pop punk and hardcore style mix that I will never not be behind. It's got really good instrumentation for that, and I like the focus on the guitar melodies a lot. There's also really good pacing as well. It's really well structured, and I was actually surprised that it got so much out of a short time frame. It's not the shortest album from the past week, but just like 12 seconds under 31 minutes to be pedantic, with 10 songs on it. I actually like how it mixes things up, and I think the pacing has like this weirdness that helps with a sort of adding a mixture of like this sort of chaotic maturity and also weird like world weariness, even though the band hasn't been around that long. It's a good mix that somehow manages to work. Also enjoyed the lyrics, really good theme of uncertainty and growing through that and trying to keep optimism, which I like because we definitely need more themes like that, especially just more themes that are trying to make you happy, and this is an album that feels like it's trying to do that, but not too try hard, which I appreciate. Quite enjoyed the performances as well, really good band chemistry, and you can absolutely taste all the work that they're putting into this, especially frontman Sam, and I hope I'm saying this right, Sam Wejcinski, Wegrzynski. So I think I'm saying that correctly. Again, I'm just drawing off my experiences of watching UFC and learning so many Polish names, so I think that's how it's pronounced. I don't know. And also enjoy the production handled by one John Markson. Really good approach to it. Really nice sort of laid back feel, which I think makes things feel nice and open and fresh. It's just really natural feeling. And overall, yeah, just a really good and occasionally funny album. But really good themes, really good instrumentation, and the band work quite hard. It's a very good thing, and for a band like this young into their career, leading into their potential. And spoilers, not the only band we're going to talk about that does that in this episode, but yeah, really good shit for a band still early into their stuff. I enjoyed it. Next up, we have a band called Cheap Trick, some small band from somewhere, and their new album All Washed Up. Now, obviously, people know this band. This is a band from the 70s that did that great theme for that 70s show. Not a thing to do but talk to you. Anyway, yeah, give this one a B plus. Holy hell, it's just some really fun hard rock. Instrumentation is a really good sign of that. There's some absolutely charming as hell guitar hooks and really good bass as well. And it makes sense that it feels older because the band is 55 years old by this point. But it's got this really good nostalgia to the melodies that doesn't feel like it's trying to force it too much, which I think is a really delicate balance to strike. I also kind of enjoy the structure. It doesn't veer a lot from its main point, but it's more focused on just being a good time. It's got this weird kindness to its energy that I felt was quite heartwarming. I think the same could be said for lyrics. I couldn't really find anything for themes. I think there's stuff about love and nostalgia, but the tone is nice and the writing is actually quite warm, so I'll take that. Enjoyed the performances, as I was shocked that the band has had such a stable lineup after 5 decades, and also frontman Rick Nielsen is nearly 80 and has so much charisma and showmanship and personality from an era that you can't really teach it. He's just, he absolutely, everyone showed up to work, but he's fucking brilliant on this one. And also enjoy the production handled by the band as alongside someone named Julian Raymond. Captures its era quite nicely, having a really slick mix that I think fleshes things out really well. That can say fuck it, and I liked how clean it felt for the most part too. So yeah, really good shit from this band. I've heard my fair share of songs from them. I watched a ton of that 70s show when I was younger. It's a really good show, to be honest. And yeah, overall just a fun bit of work from a band that I understand is quite fun. So yeah, I can recommend it. Next up, we have one of the few country artists of the Monday that I like, Colter Wall, with his new album Memories and Empties. I'm gonna give this one an A minus. Yeah, I really fucking enjoyed this one. It's just, let's begin with the performance and just give Colter all of his flowers. He's a really good storyteller, and he's just hit 30 this year. Congrats, by the way, for that. And considering that he is just hitting 30, or has just hit it now this year, he still has his best years ahead of him, and I'm really looking forward to what those bring. I also did enjoy the lyrics. There's some rich stories to be told, mostly around the themes of trying to outrun memories and not really succeeding in doing so, sort of having this good theme of reminiscing about the past, and it's nicely realised, but if there's one thing I want Coulter to do, because he's a good storyteller, I want him to do a full-on concept album next time. I think that'd be right up his fucking alley, if he can find a way to do it. And considering how long I've been listening to him for, I think he definitely has the chops to do so. I quite like the structuring. It has a really smooth flow, but it can feel maybe a little bit expected. But, it's fun, it's got this really good vibe to it. I feel like it needed to be a bit longer. It's 10 songs, 33 minutes, 4 seconds. And, the 4 seconds makes all the difference. But I did want some of the songs to be a bit longer and maybe go in a more compelling direction, but they're still fun. So I'll take the fun bit. Instrumentation is also quite good. I like the more traditional country lean, but there's also really good guitar work that shines the most to me. It blends well with everything else, but manages to stick out on its own in a good way, and I like the sort of mixes of more folky elements too. I think that works well for this. And also enjoyed the production handled by Coulter alongside Patrick Lyons, very nicely and organically handled, and I like the laid-back approach and the occasional denseness to it. Doesn't overdo it though, and this was just really good. Honestly, Coulter is, I will say this, and this is something I say in the review, which is what I'm pulling from to say half this shit to you and still find a way to fuck it up anyway. I think it's a solid enough country album, but it's a really good Coulter Wall album, more importantly, so, if you like a good Coulter Wall album, spoilers, all of his stuff is really good, then I recommend give this one a spin. I will say this much, though, I think this is the first Coulter Wall album I would likely recommend to new fans trying to get into him. I think it's his easiest to get into, and probably the easiest way in terms of, interpreting what kind of artist he is, so if you're looking to try and get into the style, I think this might be the good jumping on probably the perfect jumping on point for you. Next up, we have The Devil Wears Prada with their new album, Flowers, and I am sort of a fan of these guys. I've listened to, their past 3 albums, this one included. I'm giving this one a B. I actually quite like the attempt at a different style. It's got a more melodic and sort of poppy feel at times, and I do admit the structuring is kind of a weak point. It's got, again, I like the melodic style it sticks to, but it can really take a while to get to its real strengths, and, the halfway point and, a bit of the last third of the album are both really good bits, but it does feel like it runs out of steam at certain points, but it mixes things up nicely enough that I don't really mind it that much. I enjoyed the lyrics. There's a really good central theme of self-reflection, sort of with a focus on facing existentialism, and the writing fits it well. Also, an underlying theme of the band breaking away from their faith. They don't really fit the Christian mold anymore, and I'm sort of happy that they're breaking a bit away from that. Again, if a band's Christian or not has never particularly bothered me. So, but seeing a band, understand their struggles with their faith and write it as clearly as they can, that's something I'll always kind of appreciate, because I think it makes for some complexities. I just wish it went in a more complex direction at times. I do enjoy the performances. That might be my favourite thing here. I actually like that Jeremy DePoyster gets more clean vocals in, but good work from everyone. Mike Karanka is still a really good screamy vocalist, but Jeremy absolutely shines out of everyone else in the band, but still good work from everyone. Also enjoyed the production. It can feel maybe a bit overdone. It was, I think, maybe the band's first self-produced effort. I could be wrong about that, but there is this sort of popish feel that actually can't help the sound. And the instrumentation is also pretty good. I like the guitar, even if there isn't a lot of variety to it, but again, it's the more poppy, melody focus that I think actually helps kind of a little bit, maybe, probably. And there is more keyboard work on here, which I can appreciate at times. And I think, my sentiment about this album is much like most people's sentiment about this album. It is good, but it's not up to the band's usual standard. Again, the style change is really good, and them varying from their Christian roots as a theme is also solid, but I also wanted this album to go in more than it does. I think it maybe did need some retooling, but it's got some pretty solid moments, and if you're looking to maybe try this style out, or maybe at least try The Devil Wears Prada out, I would recommend maybe giving this your attention as your first listen. It is their 9th album, so, it might be a bit late for you to try and get into them, but it's still a solid enough recommend from me. Next up, we have a band called Homefront and their new album, Watch It Die. This is a sort of post-punky sort of act, and I'm giving this one an A. I surprisingly enjoyed this one, mostly because it fixes one of my main problems with post-punk as a genre, which is that when bands use synth and post-punk, they over-rely on it. But this one's sort of actually no, let's remember that we have guitar hooks and fucking use them, and thank you, Homefront, for actually fucking doing that. Oh my god, I enjoy post-punk as a genre, but man, thank you for fixing my main issue with the genre on this album. God's sake. Let's go over the reasons I actually like the album, though, besides that. Lyrics, first of all. Really good main theme of shouting back against systematic oppression with some really good personal stuff, all written in that sort of we're fucked but fucked together way that I like, and has been a recurring theme for most of my favourite albums of this year, to be honest, and it's, done in a bit more of a dour and, at the same time, humorous way here, and I kind of appreciate it for that, but also it's a theme I enjoy, so I'll take it. Really good performances as well. Love the tonnage of personality from everybody, but I will shout out frontman Graham McKinnon. He's the focal point, and the dude's just having a fucking blast. Also, he does vocals, guitar, and I believe synth work too, so... And all the band actually does like at least 3 instruments, or at least 2, so really hard work from everyone, to be honest. Speaking of the instrumentation, really fucking good. I love the crunch to the guitar and synth that can feel non-existent in the post-punk acts, to be honest. Because, like, you know, there's actually really good synth work on it, and I like it when it relies heavy on the synth work, but I like it more when it marries that with the guitar. I do think, though, in terms of structuring, it can lose a bit of steam in the latter half, but it does have enough consistent flow and enough good ideas to counteract that, just about. And the production was also pretty good, handled by someone named Nick Kozub, K-O-Z-U-B, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. And, yeah, it's got a really good mix. I feel like the vocals are maybe just a little bit buried at points, but there's still a really good focus on the texturing, and I like how it marries the synth and the guitar and bass nerves and everything else. It's really good in terms of its instrumental mixing. I just think maybe the vocal mixing could have been a little bit better, but still, this is some pretty fucking good stuff. Honestly, not only is this album just stylistic out the wazoo, it's just slick as hell, but also yeah, the wazoo is slick as hell. I just realised what I said. This is staying in, but I like the band work. It's got good writing and a really good theme, and it's just a cool listen. It's nice to have a band who sound this cool, and they're only 4 years in. I'm gonna try and stop laughing about the wazoo thing by the time I get to the next album. But as you can see, it's gonna be quite fucking difficult. I wouldn't normally keep this in, but it made me laugh way too much. Fuck it, I'm not gonna give this. I'm not pausing this. This is steak. Oh fuck! Why was that so funny? Oh god. I needed that laugh. I'm trying not to laugh too loud because I don't want the neighbours to hear me, and I don't want my parents to ask what's wrong with me because they're only downstairs. But oh god. I'm thinking about it again. Okay, I'm gonna get to the next album now. But fucking hell. And finally, I'm still thinking about it, finally to close out last week, we have a band called Pint Glass with their new album, Pint Glass. I believe this is their second one. This is a band from Guildford, Surrey, England, as opposed to, as right here, Guildford, Surrey, North Korea. And I give this one B. I think it's some pretty solid, like, sort of humorous and satirical metalcore, well, more specifically beat-down hardcore, with more than a dash of deathcore added as an element. So I'll begin with instrumentation. It's that really sort of heavy hardcore style that I quite enjoy. Really good slam, really good deathcore, really brutals, and, yeah, pretty fun. And also, and this is the main theme of the album, it's really fucking stupid. And I mean that in the best possible way. It's a really fucking stupid album. The lyrics are quite tongue-in-cheek about drinking and hooliganism, and it basically comes across as like a whole bunch of football chants that were sung by a metalcore band, and it's meant to be satirical, as I like the attempt of humour, and again, it's really, really dumb. I will say sometimes maybe the humour doesn't always land, I think, because the genre takes itself a bit too seriously here, but it's still really just stupid, and when it leans into the dumb, I think that's when it benefits the most. I do enjoy the performances, especially the chemistry of vocalists Bonnie Warner and Ben Mason, but everyone's just having a whole bunch of fun, and I'm always cool with it when a band is having a whole bunch of fun. The structure is probably my least favourite part. It does have a good amount of heaviness to it, but not really big in terms of variety, and also has this weird stompy flow. It's the shortest album of the last weekend, which is, which is 12 songs at a time, but 27 minutes 19 seconds, so not terribly long then, but it doesn't really have enough going for most of the songs, which I think is holding it back a little bit in terms of its pacing. I do think the production is fine. I think it was self-released, and I think it was produced by at least one band member and 3 other people who were not with the band. I actually couldn't find much on that, but it's fine. It actually adds a fair bit of meat to the sounds, providing a bigger scope than I was expecting. But I feel like it maybe feels a bit disproportionate, but it was still a lot of fun. And again, like, the technical direction of the album is dumb. The entire album is just so fucking dumb. It's got really good heft and an odd goofball charm. And, you know, maybe next time they'll get the gimmick to work a bit better, because it does feel a bit like, too much like a gimmick, but still, I am absolutely behind this, and I really hope the band keeps calling it Geezer Core. Geeza, Geezer. That's how you spell it. That's how you say it in England. Not a lot of people know that. Next, they'll give it favourite song and favourite cover. Favourite song goes to I Hate Cursive and I Hate All of You by Ben Quad from their album Wisher. I just really like the pacing, and also the title's funny, but also just a really good closing song to the album, and a really strong one at that. Favourite cover probably goes to The Devil Wears Prada with flowers. I like it when a band has an established logo, but I also like it when they're able to recreate it in real life somehow, and making it add flowers, making it look like a weird scene from Midsommar, which I still need to see at some point. Really well done. I actually quite like that. I like the artsy feel that it has. And next is next week's listening list. We have Danko Jones with Leo Rising, De La Salle with Cabin in the Sky, Glitterer with Error, that's E-R-E-R by the way, The Pretty World with 0 Point Genesis, Second Cities with Secrets, and the Smith Street Band with Once I Was Wild. And that'll about do it for me. Next thing you'll see me for will probably be a bit more of streaming Tunic, maybe finishing streaming it, because not doing any PPW versus AVW because we're having a week off after Defy the Gods is over, and yeah, you'll see me more likely for me probably finishing Tunic, and also maybe, because I'm trying to swing it and I'm trying to get it done, maybe my top 10 favourite songs, matches of Season 3 of PPW vs AVW. I think it's long overdue to work on this video, so I'm going to start trying to do it over the weekend, so we'll see what happens. As always though, thank you for watching, you're awesome, bye bye.